Hello and welcome. We learn about hygiene from a young age, often from our mothers, with the best of intentions. Stay clean, stay fresh. But what if I told you that some of the most common hygiene habits that have been passed down for generations are not only unnecessary, but are actively damaging the delicate ecosystem of your vagina and setting you up for a cycle of irritation and infections? Today, we're unlearning the myths. This is the crucial health class your mother never gave you, where a gynecologist explains the 5 clean habits that are secretly wrecking your vaginal health. To understand why these habits are so harmful, we must first understand the incredible, self-regulating masterpiece that is the vaginal ecosystem. Your vagina is not just a tube. It is a thriving, dynamic environment, a garden populated by billions of beneficial bacteria, primarily a species called lactobacillus. The primary job of these good bacteria is to produce lactic acid, which keeps the vaginal environment at a healthy, acidic pH level of around 3.8 to 4.5. This acidity is a crucial defense mechanism. It creates a hostile environment that prevents the overgrowth of bad bacteria, like those that cause bacterial vaginosis, and yeast, which cause yeast infections. Your vagina is designed to be a self-cleaning oven. It has its own perfect system. The problem begins when we, with our well-intentioned habits, interfere with this system. We try to help, and in so doing, we often cause the very problems we are trying to prevent. Let's expose the first and most common offender. Habit number 1, douching and using internal cleansers. The marketing for these products is seductive. It promises freshness, cleanliness, and confidence. The reality is that douching is one of the single worst things you can do for your vaginal health. When you force a stream of water, vinegar, or perfumed chemicals into the vagina, you are essentially power washing away your entire protective army of good lactobacillus bacteria. You are completely destroying your natural defenses. The immediate consequence is a dramatic shift in your vaginal pH. The acidic environment becomes neutral or alkaline, creating a perfect, welcoming playground for harmful bacteria and yeast to thrive. It's no surprise that numerous studies have shown that women who douche regularly have a much higher risk of developing bacterial vaginosis and recurrent yeast infections. But it gets worse. Douching can also force existing bacteria further up into the reproductive tract, increasing the risk of more serious conditions like pelvic inflammatory disease, or PID, which can have long-term consequences for fertility and chronic pain. The feeling of freshness from a douche is temporary and deceptive. It is the quiet before the storm of a full-blown infection. Your vagina does not need to be cleaned on the inside. It cleans itself. Habit number 2, using harsh or scented soaps on the vulva. This is a very common mistake. Many women believe they need to use a strong, antibacterial, or heavily perfumed soap to feel clean down there. This is a fundamental misunderstanding of the anatomy. The vulva, which is the external genital area, has some of the most sensitive skin on your entire body. The harsh detergents, sulfates, and artificial fragrances found in many standard body washes and soaps can be incredibly irritating to this delicate skin. This irritation can strip the skin of its natural protective oils, leading to dryness, redness, itching, and even tiny cracks in the skin, which can become a gateway for infections. Furthermore, some of that soap will inevitably get inside the vaginal opening, further disrupting the pH balance we just discussed. The same goes for scented bubble baths, bath bombs, and perfumed feminine hygiene sprays. They are all recipes for irritation. What is the solution? It's beautifully simple. For the external vulva, all you need is warm water. That's it. If you feel you absolutely must use a cleanser, choose the gentlest, most boring, fragrance-free, hypoallergenic cleanser you can find. Something you would use on a baby's skin. Remember, the goal is to protect your body's natural state, not to disrupt it with chemicals and perfumes. Habit number 3, wearing panty liners and synthetic underwear daily. The daily use of panty liners is a habit for millions of women, often for a feeling of just-in-case freshness. Likewise, much of modern underwear is made from synthetic fabrics like nylon or spandex because they are smooth and look attractive. Both of these habits, however, create a critical problem. They trap heat and moisture. Your vaginal area needs to breathe. Yeast and bad bacteria thrive in warm, moist, low-oxygen environments. When you wear a synthetic fabric that doesn't breathe or place a panty liner, which often has a plastic backing, against your vulva all day, you are creating a perfect incubator. You are essentially creating a humid tropical microclimate that encourages the overgrowth of the very organisms you are trying to avoid. This can lead to a cycle of chronic, low-grade irritation, itching, and an increased risk of infections. The solution is twofold. First, let your skin breathe. Choose underwear made from 100% cotton, a natural, breathable fabric. Second, if you can, avoid the daily use of panty liners. If you are dealing with discharge, it's far better to simply change your cotton underwear more frequently throughout the day. And whenever possible, for example at night, consider sleeping without any underwear at all to give the area a chance to air out completely. Habit number 4, overusing antibiotics. This is a broader health habit with a very specific consequence for vaginal health. Antibiotics are life-saving drugs when used appropriately for bacterial infections. However, they are a scorched earth weapon. They don't just kill the bad bacteria causing your sinus infection, they also wipe out the beneficial bacteria throughout your body, including the protective lactobacillus in your vagina. This is why it is incredibly common to get a yeast infection immediately after a course of antibiotics. The antibiotics have killed off the good guys, leaving the yeast, which is a fungus and is unaffected by the antibiotics, free to take over and grow unchecked. The key here is to be a smart patient. Always ask your doctor if an antibiotic is truly necessary. Colds and the flu are caused by viruses, and antibiotics have zero effect on them. If you do need to take an antibiotic, be proactive in protecting your vaginal health. This is the perfect time to take a high-quality probiotic supplement, specifically one that contains lactobacillus strains to help repopulate your gut and vaginal microbiome with beneficial bacteria. Habit number 5, ignoring the power of your diet. We often don't connect what we eat with our vaginal health, but the link is direct and powerful. A diet high in sugar and refined carbohydrates is not just bad for your waistline, it's a feast for yeast. Candida, the yeast that causes most yeast infections, feeds on sugar. If your diet is constantly providing it with fuel, you are making it much more difficult for your body to keep it in check. On the other hand, a diet rich in whole foods can be your greatest ally. Probiotic-rich foods like plain yogurt, kefir, and sauerkraut can actively supply your body with the same kind of beneficial bacteria that protect your vagina. A diet low in sugar and high in fiber creates a healthy internal environment that makes it much harder for harmful organisms to thrive. Your vaginal health is a direct reflection of your overall health, and it truly starts on your plate. True vaginal health isn't about adding more products. It's about removing the things that disrupt your body's natural wisdom. By unlearning these common but harmful habits, you can break the cycle of irritation and infection for good. If this guide has empowered you with the knowledge to take better care of yourself, please subscribe to Dr. Maskola. Let's continue to debunk the myths and embrace the real science of women's health together.